Krishna had left Vrindavan for good, but in Mathura he had not forgotten the Gopis who loved him immensely, intensely. So he sent Uddhava, a kinsman, to assuage them and to explain to them the situation in terms of bhakti, looking at Uddhava, the Gopis were surprised to notice a resemblance with Krishna in form and dress, the same long arms, eyes like a fresh lotus bud, yellow dhoti and a shawl, a garland of lotus flowers around his neck, earrings studded with gems, and a joyous mien. Who is this handsome man? Where from has he arrived? Why is he dressed like our beloved Krishna? Talking in this way and curious to know his identity, the Gopis surrounded Uddhava. Once they knew him to be a messenger of their beloved, they bowed their heads with shy smiles and greeted him in polite and mellifluous words. However, they had a store of taunts to give, and they had to express their Viraha, their sense of loss, and their devotion to Krishna in words which are not easily surpassed in, let me say, the world poetry. They said, and this song is known as Bhramarageeta because the allegory is taken from a black bee which flits from flower to flower, sucking the sap. As a messenger of Yadunath, you have arrived to console his parents. Otherwise, what remains in this village where only the cows live and graze for him to remember? Aware we are that even sages cannot rise above attachments and forget their parents and their kith and kin. However, the show of fondness for others is mostly selfish. It is to serve a purpose, to seduce. The Brahmara dances around a flower. A man chases a woman with promises he never intends keeping. A courtesan turns her face away from a suitor whose fount of wealth has dried. The public scorns a ruler who cannot protect. Listen to the words and the similes and the metaphors. How many students care for their guru once their learning is over? Said the Gopis. Dakshina disbursed, even the Brahmins do not stay long. The birds do not give a second thought to staying on the branches of a tree rendered fruitless by time. The animals run the moment a forest catches fire. What similes, what images. A faithless man casts not a glance at the woman he has used, however deep in love she might be, not he. The Gopis were so full of anger, so hurt at Krishna's desertion, so overcome with grief that they let go of restraint suitable to a woman's character. The dam of their tears burst. One of them was reliving the Maharas in her mind. When she noticed a black bee droning around her ears, she thought him to be another messenger. Addressing him, she said, "Don't even touch my feet, you rascal. You are the friend of a cheat. Your salutations are false. Can't we see that your whiskers are smeared with the yellow paste of garlands worn by Krishna and crushed during the embraces of the breasts of our rivals in Mathura?" Very visual, very erotic, but so real. Inconsistent is your love for the flowers. You never stick to one. Ever flitting from one to another just like our Krishna. However, who cares? Let him please the flirtatious Mathura beauties. The yellow unguent, a sign of his proximity, would be a matter of scorn in an assembly of Yaduvanshis. Why send it to us as a mocking gift? Why belittle our devotion? You have so much in common with Krishna. Dusky you are like him. As you run away having sucked the sap of flowers, he too has left us for good. For once, only once, we drank deep from his lips, the amrit of his love, of his adoration for us. Why, but why? We are so innocent. He deserted us without even a farewell. No bye-bye. We wonder how Lakshmi has served him so long. He must have ensnared her with his sweet prattle. He must have won her over with amorous glances. O Bhramar, we are the denizens of the forest. We have no homes, being simple rustic folks. Why do you sing encomiums to Krishna in our presence, if not to soothe our hurt? However, we can see through the game. We have known him for quite some time. Your flattery is of no avail. These tricks would not succeed. Go back and please your master and his city-bred mistresses. They do not seem aware of his Leela, for now he has comforted them and applied salve to their breasts. Go, sing of his songs to them. For certain, you will be richly rewarded. O Bhramar, didn't you tell us that he pines for us? Show us a woman who, charmed by his deceitful smile, waylaid by his amorous glances, will not run into his arms. That's our weakness. You ignorant fool. There is not one such even in Swargalok compared to Lakshmi. Where do we stand? Go to him and say, you have been named Uttam Shlok by one and all. The virtuous recite your name in worship. To be true to your name, Krishna, you ought to be merciful to the oppressed, the downtrodden. And that black bee comes and touches her feet. He doesn't know what he is doing. Now do not touch my feet, she says. You cheat. I am aware that you are good at asking forgiveness and in the art of persuasion. Krishna has taught you well how to placate the angry one, what pleasing words to use to flatter, and how to woo the one who is offended. Know that you will not succeed with us. Enamored of Krishna, we forgot, nay, deserted our husbands, our children, and our kith and kin. He never showed any gratitude. Being heartless, he deserted us in no time. Tell us, how do we reconcile with him? Do you still advise us to trust him? O Madhupa, incarnated as Ram, hiding behind a tree, he killed Bali, the monkey king. Shurpanakha grew enamored of his looks. She made advances to only have her nose and ears sliced off. By his younger brother, provoked by his wife. What havoc did he not cause when born as Vaman to a Brahmin? He tied up King Bali in knots. Once the latter had gifted him the entire universe, he sent him packing to Patal Lok. You may well ask, why do we talk of Krishna all the time? A valid question. Having heard of his exploits, of his Leela, having tasted even a drop of the Amrit of his name, anyone gets detached from Raga Dvesh. This is Bhakti. Joys and sorrows and worldly attachments. His doubts are set at rest. Even when reduced to a pauper, a Bhakt, having renounced all that he had, holds nothing but Krishna's name, like a bird surviving on grain picked from the road. An excellent image. A bird surviving on grain picked from the road. Our plight is similar. Having loved him once, we cannot live without him. Have you seen the does enamored of their black buck, getting trapped by the music of the hunter? We innocent Gopis too have been trapped by Krishna, the cheat with his words soaked in honey. We believe him to be truthful. How to forget when he tickled us with his nails? The mere thought excites. Dear Bhramara, No more on this subject. We have had enough. But he comes back. O friend of our beloved, you appear to have returned with a new message. Enough of persuasion, of flattery. You want a favor? Ask for anything you desire to have. In confidence, tell us the truth. Has he invited us to Mathura? Have you come to escort us? However, we have already been to him. That is again like a devotee. We cannot get nearer. He is always in our thoughts. Moreover, there is a problem. Once we attain him, our return will be problematic. Lakshmi clings to him all the time. How shall we share with him with her? Madhukar, tell us, is he happy in Mathura? Does he ever think of Maya Yashoda, Nand Baba and of his companions in Vrindavan? Does he ever talk of us, his slaves? Tell us, would he ever take us into his fragrant arms? Will our life be blessed again? Now at this point, writes the Rishi Shukdev, politely Uddhava interrupted their conversation. He was getting late for his return. Addressing them in reassuring words, he said, you are blessed to have come so near Bhagavan Krishna. The entire world will talk of you and worship you for your devotion and your bhakti. Even today, we say Radha Krishna, not Krishna Radha. Radha precedes Krishna. Radha was one of the Gopis. Eminent sages do not reach the heights in dhyan that you have attained. Leaving aside your sons, your husbands, your relatives and your homes, your body, you have surrendered to Sri Krishna, who is the Lord and Master of the entire universe. I tell you, in confidence, as a humble confidant of Sri Krishna, I have brought his affectionate message that would please you immensely, he says. Krishna tells you, know that I am the cause and being of the entire universe. I am the Atma that stirs everyone to think and to act. For this reason, I can never be separated from you. Look at this explanation. God is with us. God is within us. God is never separated from us. The soul is above and beyond what you see. It is separate and distinct from Maya, the illusion that surrounds your perceptions. It has no attributes or gunas. Rise above your sensory perceptions and realize me. What you see all around is transitory. I alone am not. I am not transitory. Like the rivers running into an ocean from all directions reach for me through various means like the Vedas, yoga, tapasya, meditation, intelligence and knowledge, control of sensory activity, discrimination, truthful activity and religious pursuits. My beloveds, I accept that I am the apple of your eye, that I am all that you have. But I stay away from you so that you can think of me all the time. So that even when being physically away, you experience my proximity in your mind. Now here is a solution forever. God is never going to be physically with us. We have just to think of him. Those of you who could not participate in the Maharas on Sharad Purnima in Vrindavan, come near me in their thoughts. I have included a painting from the Mumbai Museum on Maharas. You would love it. It's also a cover of my book, Krishnaleela. Hence, do not despair. Look inwards and find me. I cannot be closer. Krishna's message uplifted the spirit of the Gopis. They expressed the fond hope that one day Sri Krishna would visit them, although they said that they knew that in this world it was better not to raise one's expectations too high. Practical. Be practical. One's happiness lay in not wanting anything. The less the better. Give up desire. Addressing Uddhava and sending a message through him to Krishna, they said, we shall never lose hope. Tell him, you will come one day, we are sure of that. Every grain of sand in Vrindavan bears the imprint of your feet. This is the river bank where you played and romanced us. There stands Giriraj Govardhan, on which you stood and played upon your flute. There is the forest where we spent the nights with you. The cows you used to graze are still here. They too remember you. You knew each other one by name. We can still hear your melodious flute. The moment you touched it with your lips, it emitted a heavenly tune. Throughout the day, we do nothing but talk of you, about you. Krishna, you are our Lord, our Master. You are all the wealth we have. It matters not that you are Lakshmi Nath. For us, you are Brajnath. We, the Brajwalas, are devoted to you alone. Shama Sundar, you loved the Vrindavan cows. We too are your cows. All of Vrindavan waits for you. Do not disappoint us. Uddhava delayed his departure. He thought he would never find such devotees to his God. Spending time in their company was a blessing. Looking at the Gopis, he sang, "There is none more fortunate than the Gopis, who think of Krishna and Krishna alone. I wish I was a creeper, a bush or a plant in Vrindavan, so that the dust from their feet settled on me." Ignoring calumny, breaking social barriers, forgetting their families, these women became one with God. What greater blessing can there be than such a communion with Bhagwan? I wish I was in their place. On the day of his departure, Uddhava picked a fistful of the Vrindavan earth and touched it to his forehead. Loaded with gifts from Nanda Baba, riding his golden bullock cart, he set out for Mathura. However, he had left his heart behind in Vrindavan. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Jai Sri Krishna, Jai Sri Krishna, Jai Sri Krishna.